Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Miriam and in 2021 I challenged myself to read 365 books. For those of you who've been following my channel know that I managed to do this, and I promised to share some reflection videos about this, and today is a reflection video. In today's video I'm going to tell you the 5 lessons I learned from it, and I'm also going to share with you 3 reasons why I'm glad that this challenge is over. So the first lesson I learned from reading 365 books is to make reading a priority because it makes me happy, usually. If you want to achieve reading 365 books, reading should definitely be a priority and not just something that you do when you've got the time. You have to devote time to it, and that's what I did. I made reading a priority even more than I already did, and most of the time I actually enjoyed reading, so no worries about that. The second lesson I learned is that a lot is possible if you put your mind to it. Especially at the end of the challenge I felt a bit, well, it felt like it had been dragging on for a while and I did not really like it. But if you put your mind to it, if you just say to yourself that it's just the last couple of weeks, so it taught me to hang on, and well, that if you want something really bad, it does not always mean that you're going to get it, but with this it's something that you have influence over, so if you put your mind to do it, you can do it. Another lesson I learned was to appreciate novellas. I discovered a lot of novellas this past year because I had to read so many books, and novellas did count towards my goal. I actually discovered a lot of novellas and learned to appreciate them because I always had the idea that if you read a novella it's not, it's too short to like, but actually I came to realization that with a lot of books it can be shorter. A lot of books can be like 50 pages shorter if people cut out unnecessary storylines and stuff like that. And with a novella you don't have that, because a novella is short, so all the extra things that are not necessary for the story are cut out of the story. So that's why I learned to appreciate them. I also learned that a lot can happen in those in-between moments, like the 15 minutes you have to wait for someone if you're going out. I did not go out for a long time, but still 15 minutes, or while you're in a waiting room at the doctor, at the dentist, at whatever place you're at. In those 10-15 minutes you can read an awful lot of pages, and I hope this will help me this year by not wasting those in-between moments on my phone, but actually doing something useful. For example, writing, or do a course or something like that. I don't know, it's helped me to put down my phone a bit more and make the most of those in-between moments, and I want to continue that next year with a book or writing or something else. And the last lesson I learned is that even if you love something and adore something, it can feel like a chore. Especially at the end of the year in November, reading was not something I only did because I enjoyed it, but because I had to do it. And I remember I said that if reading would feel like a chore I would quit, but I had come so far, so giving up was not an option anymore. And most of the time I did enjoy reading, but they can coexist. You can enjoy something, but it can also be a chore. You can enjoy your chores as well. And just because with one book you do not really like it, it doesn't mean that this is the case for all the books. At least that's what I took from it. Well, those were 5 lessons I learned, but now I'm also going to share with you 3 reasons why I'm glad this challenge is over. And you might have guessed them, maybe, I don't know, but one of the reasons is that I can actually pick out books I like again. And it's not that I picked out a lot of books that I did not like, but there were quite a lot of books that I read because they weren't as big as other books. And I really love the novellas, but sometimes I would read a novella just to get to my goal of reading 7 books a week. And often that would not feel like a very good thing, and I wanted to read big books, but I did not dare to dive into them because they were so big. So now I can pick out books that I like because I don't have to read 365 books this year. Another reason I'm glad it's over, that I can take it easy with reading. I don't have to rush myself into reading. This looks like the same reason, but it's actually sort of different because, you know, some books, some stories ask to be read slowly, that you just want to make the most of them, so it takes you like a week or a month. It depends on the type of reader that you are, but sometimes you just want that the story lasts longer. So that's something that I'm really glad that now I can actually do that again to books that I really like. I sort of did this last year as well, and then I would read other books with it, but that is not the same experience. And the last reason has nothing to do with reading, but I'm so glad that I have more time to write, to be creative, to do stuff, to do other things and not feel guilty that I'm not reading. My end conclusion: was it worth reading 365 books? I think it was worth it. I really enjoyed it for the most of the time, but for now I'm really glad it's over. So let me know in a comment, would you ever try something like reading 365 books, or something that is as challenging to you as reading 365 books was to me? I'm an avid reader, so it was a challenge, but I can imagine that for someone who reads on average 25 books a year, it sounds a lot more than for someone who reads 200 books a year. That is a bit more doable. But like, for instance, if you read 25 books a year, would you try to read 75 or 100 books in a year? Would you try that? Would you do a challenge like that? Or would you just like the things to remain as they are? Let me know in a comment. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more bookish content made by me, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And as always, happy reading.